Welcome to the US AVD User Group YouTube channel. Coming up is the recording from a live online user group meeting. Please use the link below to become a member of the community and join us for our free monthly events. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. Okay, well, we'll get started. We got a few minutes after. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to the January 18th US AVD User Group. I can't believe it's 2024 already. What's funny is I kept thinking it's February, so no need to rush things, I guess. Please be aware that this meeting is recorded and will be made publicly available. If you don't agree to being recorded, please leave the meeting now. Questions asked during the meeting will be recorded and available online. The recording will be stopped at the end to give those who don't want to be recorded an opportunity to ask questions. I think that's as close to a legal disclaimer as I can write. Okay, our agenda today is we're going to go over the US AVD user group status. Then we're going to look at some AVD updates. And then we're going to move on to app attach with Jim Oil. So we'll get started with that. Just member expectations, treat everyone with respect, be involved with the community. Please share, be part of this group as it comes, as it's available online. And share. And if you want to stand out and share what you know, let me know. We're always looking for people to share. And the big news with this one is the group is being rebranded. So we're changing the name from US AVD User Group to North America Cloud Desktop Community, or the brief name is Cloud Desktop Community. That encompasses more than AVD. So with this group, we're including Windows 365 and Intune management as well for those Windows 365 and AVD devices or computers. We're also including others outside of the US. It is North America, but everybody's welcome. So as I was considering different names, we didn't use the EUC or end user compute because I wanted to focus on the cloud portion of this, so cloud desktop, so Windows 365 and AVD. And as promised, as I've been promising for the last 5 meetings, I finally posted the previous meetings online. So we have a YouTube channel. You can go check that out. There's a new website as well. So that's pretty exciting. More name changes to come with that. Or you'll see the name change in more areas as we move forward. Okay, bear with me a second. Okay, so the AVD client has earlier this week when I checked, the version is 1.2.5105, and that's for both public and insiders. There's a fix, the CVE number there, that rolled the insider into public to address that security issue. There's some improved accessibility with changes to the size of text and app height contrast themes, and improved logging. One of the updates that came out over the past month is a public preview for confidential VMs with Intel TDX in Azure Virtual Desktop. So there's a couple of VMs that are supported in that. And if you want more information on confidential computing, you can use a tiny URL or the QR code. I'll just pause here. If anybody has any questions, you can just let me know. I've got the chat open, and I think everybody can enable their mics during this. So that is the end of the updates. So with that, we're going to move on to Jim's going to present on new app attach functionality in AVD. And one thing to point out, this is not MSIX app attach. So MSIX app attach is GA currently. That's the MSIX app attach we all know and love. This is App Attach. So this is a preview feature, and I'll let Jim explain more. So with that, Jim, you want to take over?
Thanks very much, Travis. So let me share the correct deck. 1 second. Why is that not coming up in my share? That's okay, I can share a screen. Let's go old school. Nope, wrong screen. See, we're doing very well.
That was your notes page.
Yeah, I know. There we go.
Okay, we see it now.
Perfect. So welcome everybody. We're going to talk about the brand new version of App Attach. Feel free to jump in, stick your hand up, put a question in the chat, or mute your mic. All good. Want to keep it as interactive as possible. If you're going to ask me questions about MSX, I will answer to the best of my ability, but MSX is its own product group, is its own team, and is a package format. App Attach is the delivery mechanism for those format types. So my area of interest in my charter is around the delivery of applications and not the creation of those package formats. I do know a bit about it, so I'm happy to talk to you about it. But just to let you know where we are in terms of the areas of responsibilities. All right. When I think about essentially any kind of end user computing, what I'd like to see really is single read only instance everything. So if you want to have consistency in your environment, if you have compliance or regulatory requirements, if you want a supportable environment, then consistency is key. The way to achieve that consistency is making sure that you don't have configuration drift across your environment. You don't have a load of people who are on different versions of applications. You don't have a load of people where patches were installed in different orders for different applications, for the image, for anything really. You want to be confident that you know what's in that build. I'm not really counting personal in that. Personal generally because people require elevated permissions. They by definition need to change their environment. Probably you as an IT professional would come under that, but most people don't need to go and mess about inside an application or inside the OS to do their jobs. App Attach gives you that single read-only instance of an application. Now, you can run multiple versions. So if you have different people who need a different version of the application, and whilst you're upgrading, and we'll go into that later, the ability to run multiple versions side by side is kind of interesting. It means that you can keep apps evergreen. You can make sure that you separate out the life cycle from the image, and you can make sure that without updating the image, you can update the apps. I'm going to stop there because Seaman has asked a question in the chat. What are the types of apps allowed in the new App Attach to support MSI, EXE, AppV, and etc.? In this public preview, it is MSIX, AppX, MSX bundles, and AppX bundles. However, you have noticed, no doubt, that I have taken MSX out of the name of this product. And when we get right to the end of this, one of those things on the list will be present, and we'll take a look at that. Probably won't ever support MSIs, not directly. I've got plans afoot to really extend the package format, and we can indirectly support MSIs, but that'll be for a future talk. So watch this space. Back to the slide. So either keeping evergreen, so keeping on the latest version, or if you need to stick on a single version, that's the one you've tested, that's the one you've integrated with a whole host of other things, you can stick on that single version as well. And you can reset to known good just by logging out. All right, so let's get into the actual enhancements. Now, all of these are brand new to the public preview. So any application can now be applied to any session host. Previously, AppAttach was a child of the host pool, which meant that it couldn't be applied to multiple host pools. So if you had Adobe Reader and you had 5 host pools, you would need to create 5 instances of a AppAttach, MSIX AppAttach application for each host pool. Seems fairly foolish. So now AppAttach is no longer a child object of a host pool, and it can be applied to any host pool. So if you have 100 host pools, you only need 1 instance of the application in order to apply to every single VM in those 100 host pools. Previously, if you were in a desktop environment, applications were only shown to the people who were also in that desktop app group. 1 app group per host pool. You couldn't have multiple. So anybody who could log on to the desktop could see all of the applications. Now it's absolutely a differentiated desktop for anybody who logs on. Again, a new thing. We can now update an application without interrupting anybody's workflow. So people can be using one version of the app. You update it in the background. We're not going to close any apps. We're going to allow people to finish their day, finish their work. But anybody who new logs on will get the new version of the application. Format, we just went over that. Currently, any MSIX, Apex, or now we support the bundles of those 2 formats as well. Modification packages, so you can change the MSIX and you can make it conform to your own environment, your own policies, your own integration designs, and we now support modification packages both in desktop environments and remote app environments. We didn't previously used to support Entra ID, and now we do. So you can either use a hybrid with a synced ID, or you can use Entra ID itself. So let's do a quick demo of what I would do let's create an AppAttach package. So we're going to pick bundle, which, as I say, wasn't previously supported. And we're picking terminal preview because it's something that changes all the time. So definitely something that you don't want to put in a golden image or anything like that, because if something changes on a daily basis, you don't want to be updating your image on a daily basis. I'm just downloading the tool which will expand a MSX into a disk image. All this is an unzip and a copy into the disk image, really. I'm setting some ACLs as well, but we're not actually, there's no sequencing here, there's no repackaging, there's no nothing. All right, so I've downloaded MSX Manager. Let's just unblock those files because I have downloaded them from the internet, so I'm just going to unblock them. That's the sensible thing to do with stuff you've downloaded from the internet. So while I'm just copying that around, I'll answer your question in the chat. Apex and Apex bundles are store apps. Can we now assign the store apps to it? Yes, we can. As long as you can find the store apps, the download for the store apps, absolutely. You can either ask the vendor for their Apex file, or there are third-party websites which will allow you to download store apps. So yes, you can. I've created a disk image here. Now you can create a VHDX. I've created a SimFS disk image. It is both faster and less resource intensive than a VHDX. SimFS is a Windows 11 technology. It was backported to Windows 10. So depending on which version of Windows 10 depends on how well SimFS acts in your environment. So my rule of thumb is Windows 10 use VHDX, Windows 11 use SimFS. I've got a SimFS. I'm going to just upload that into some Azure-based storage. In this case, I'm going to be using Azure Files and SMB Azure Files. So I'm going to need a VM to get all the metadata from that MSX package, that disk image that I've just uploaded. There's a lot of metadata in MSX files, some good stuff. You can see all of these are, by the way, and I haven't repackaged any of those apps that you saw there. They're all downloaded from the vendors, so just a few of the ones that are available. I'm just going to make it active. And then I'm actually going to assign it to a host pool. This is different from the VM that I needed to extract the information from. Could be the same, doesn't matter. You can use any valid host pool to extract the information. But those three host pools are the ones that I'm going to allow this app to run on. And that single user, you can obviously use a group as well, is the one that I'm going to allow to run the app. So you only need to pass the two tests, right? Is the app allowed to run on this VM? And is this user allowed to run the app? If both of those are true, then the user will get the application. I've decided that let's edit the list of host pools. Let's take out the personal one and leave us with 2. And we can see the list of available host pools there. And we can also see that user 2 that I previously added. I can add more if I want. Everybody's fairly familiar with picking users in the portal. All right, so that was easy enough. So it's the new bundle, it's the new preview. It's been uploaded and added, and I've added it to 2 host pools and a user. So let's just log on. Now, hopefully, Windows Terminal Preview is in this. I know it is, it's a recorded video, so cheating slightly. There we go. Works. Now, that's great. You've gone through that. Maybe you've automated it. I've got this GitHub repository. I've built a whole load of written a whole load of automation code around this. You don't have to click anything if you don't want to. You can automate this from soup to nuts. But now you need to update it. So let's use a different application. Browsers are updated a lot. So this happens to be Firefox. One of the reasons I chose Firefox, it's available native as an MSIX from the vendor. And we saw that it was 1.10 version. Now, let's just check that I'm not cheating. It's the same multi-session VM. It's just 2 different users running in a different session on the same VM. They were both running Firefox 1.10. I'm going to log one out. and I'm going to update that app attach package in the background. Don't know if you noticed there, but there was a browse storage account. So you can actually just browse your storage account rather than remembering the UNT now. But now it's 113. So let's log back in with that user that I logged out. Bearing in mind, I'm still logged in with the first user. We'll have a look at Firefox. Now we're 113. But bear in mind that my initial user on version 110 is still logged into this very same VM, just on a different session. So I'm going to prove that to you now. And there we go. So that means that you do not need any maintenance window. You do not need any downtime to update an application for any user. You can do it during working hours in the background, and all the user needs to do to get the new version is log out and log back in again. But people who are using the application will never get their workflow, their day interrupted by an application update in the background. They just keep working, and everything naturally flows as they log out and log back in again, and you can have both versions running simultaneously. Robert Ferry says he lost the demo. Does anybody else not see the demo?
I can see it.
There we go. I'm going to blame it on you, Robert.
Somehow I just got the list of all the users that were here and lost the demo. I logged out, logged back in, and I can see it fine. Thanks.
No worries.
Yeah, it disappeared for probably half the demo, but came back for me.
Well, I described it exactly how it was on my screen. So I'm happy to share a recording if you want. Everything is now per user. As I said previously, it was the desktop application group that entitled applications. Notice I do not have any applications in my desktop application group. I've just got the bunch of AVD users in my app group. Now this is a remote app group. Now, in order to keep the functionality as close as I could to the original, the remote app group is used to enable the application in the feed. The fact you can't see a icon there is a bug that's now fixed, by the way. Now we can still see that application in the desktop, and we can see that application as a remote app. You no longer need an application, an app group to control access to anything. For me, for my desktop application groups, I just have one big group in there, and all my apps are controlled by the permissions on the app itself. For a host pool where there is remote app groups, then I just put one big remote app group and put all of my app attached applications in there. And again, the feed that people see inside their client is controlled by the permissions on the app itself. So you can see there, I've got different permissions, and we have a unique experience in the desktop and in remote app for each user. So permissions and controls on the app, instantaneous upgrade, instantaneous deployment. If you have an environment where you have a load of old MSX packages, that's a case for some of our customers. Now, if you've only got a handful, I wouldn't worry about this. But some of our customers do already have hundreds or thousands of applications. In that case, let's do some migration. Now we can, in the documentation, there's a link to the download for the migration script. And all I'm doing there is running the migration script. Everything is logged to a log file. And we can see that that migration, the old version of the application, has been done. I did not delete the old version. That is a parameter I can do, so I can delete the old version if I want. But now we can see that that has now been transferred into the new architecture. In order to enable all of this, it may look fairly similar to you in terms of the portal, and that is deliberate. I've tried to make the user experience as close as possible. In fact, all of the APIs have changed, all of the backend has changed. It's pretty much a total redesign of the entire way that this technology works. So if you've tried it before and you weren't very pleased with it, or it didn't work the way you wanted it to work, then I would ask you to try it again now. And if you still have any problems, then let me know, because I'm absolutely happy to take any feedback you have. Okay, so any application on any session notes, applications are per user, updated without a maintenance window, and we're going to migrate from new. I'm actually going to skip a couple of slides because I want to deal with AppV in particular. So there is the MSX packaging tool, which will allow you to repackage AppV to MSX. Now, currently, that just takes the package. It doesn't take any of the customization that you put on the packages, but that is coming to this tool. If your AppV to MSX migration doesn't work, then this isn't in the public preview, so this is coming soon, coming very soon. I don't have an MSX package there. I have an AppV package, but it is assigned to VMs and entitled to users exactly the same as an MSX package. Now, that's AppV working without any AppV infrastructure. There's no AppV servers in the background. There's no IaaS in the background. This is purely the same infrastructure. It's purely the AVD control plane, which is doing this. We're streaming this directly from storage into the VM. Now, like I said, this is not in the current public preview. This is in private preview. If you want to have a look at the AppV support within AVD, then let me know, and I can get you onto a private preview for AppV. So what you can do is you can move to AVD and you can bring your AppV apps with you. And then one by one, as the support for MSIX increases from ISVs, they may have an MSX for you. You don't need to do any conversion or any work yourself. You can just swap it straight out. You can literally do a seamless upgrade from AppV to MSIX once you have the MSX package inside AVD, and you get that same experience where one person's working on one person's working on the other. You don't need a maintenance window. Or as our conversion tools improve, you can then convert your apps one by one. But because you have a lot of AppV apps, it should no longer prevent you from moving to AVD, because shortly we will be announcing support for AppV apps within AVD. Having said that, this does not change the deprecation date for AppV. That is still April 2026. So this is essentially a stopgap measures for helping customers move to a multi-session client OS, move to the cloud, move to AVD without having to redo all of their AppV packages into MSIX to get the advantages of App Attach. So now we support AppX, AppX bundles, MSX, MSX bundles, and we will shortly be supporting AppV. As I said earlier in the session, I am looking to broaden that package support even further, and we'll look for some announcements within the next sort of quarter or so around that. If you want a private preview the AppV stuff, let me know. There's some links to some documentation. I'm sure you can find documentation by yourselves. Hopefully that's been interesting to you. And this is now public preview. It's only just come public preview over the holiday season. So if you want to log into the portal, you will now see the new App Attach features inside the portal. All the docs are up to date. You can even raise a support case, even though it is public preview, on the new version of App Attach. If anybody wants to come off mute, if anybody wants to stick the hand up, if anybody wants to put a question in chat, all of those avenues are welcome and open to you.
Thanks for presenting that, Jim. I'm going to stop recording now, so if you want to ask a question, it won't be recorded.